Hello and welcome to From Impossible to Inevitable. I am your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me and pushing play on today's episode. Today I have episode 154 for you, and as I'm recording this today, it is June 17th, and it marks 1 year since I started my 5 a.m. habit, my 5 a.m. ritual that I didn't know if I was going to be able to be successful with it, but this was the time I truly made it work. I truly figured it out. I truly shifted into it. I have recorded tons of episodes on my 5 a.m. ritual, and so I'm not going to go into all of that and all of the ways that it has changed my life, changed me, changed my mindset, shifted me into a new person. I'm not going to go into all of that today, but I want to talk about, I bring that up because I want to talk about something that really, really surprised me. Okay? So over this last year of doing my 5 a.m. habit, as I have looked not on paper looked at it, but thought about it in my head, looked at it, I have been really consistent. I really, really have. I have gotten up at 5 a.m. even when I didn't want to, even when I didn't feel great. I've gotten up while I've been on vacation. When I was in London, I got up at 5 a.m., which was really kind of cool because as I was texting my husband, it was like 9:30 here and 4:30 in London. So I technically get up at 4:35. It's fine. But I was getting up before he even went to bed. So it was like he was saying good morning and I was saying good night, and that was really fun and cute. But I got up at 5 a.m. when we were in Disneyland. I got up, I have been extremely consistent. When we've gone down to his folks for holidays, I drag him with me because I don't like walking on unfamiliar streets by myself to get that exercise piece in. But anyways, I have figured it out for the most part. And I can look back and be like, okay, well, I've missed days. I have been really sick. There was this trip that we took to Idaho where I didn't get up and do the thing. Yeah, I've missed days here and there. I know I have. I'm not saying that I thought I was perfect or on top of it. I'm just saying that I've done it when it was hard to do, when the situations weren't ideal. I've done it when I was not in my normal circumstances. And there have been days where I didn't do it just because I didn't. Whatever, I was too sick or whatever I came up with at the time that kept me from doing it. Okay? Even though I could have pushed through, I could have persisted, I decided not to for whatever reason, whether that was self-love or whether that was just I'm tired. So, I say all of that because as I was reflecting, I was like, okay, it's been 365 days since I started this habit. And I have kept track of every single day I have engaged in it. So part of the morning ritual is a journaling piece. So for me, it's 30 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of journaling, 20 minutes of reading. That's the whole ritual. So there's this journaling piece, and I have kind of a morning format that I really like to go through, and it starts with 5 a.m. club, day, whatever it is. And that piece stays in my journal no matter what. So if I don't do it, I put 3 X's to say, I didn't show up today to do this. I didn't do it. But if I did do it, then I put the day it is. This is day 289 or whatever it is. And so I have kept track of the days. Today marks 365, right? We've gone a full year, and yet today was 308 in my journal. And I was like, 308? Now, okay, I could have messed up on my counting. There could have been a time or two where I looked back and was like, what day am I on? Oh, it's yesterday was day 257, so maybe I wrote 257 twice, because I wasn't really, it's early. Maybe I wasn't really all there yet. So I'm saying there could have been those things that I've messed up, but I don't feel like I've messed up that much to have made such a big difference. So for those of you who don't want to do the math, that's a 57-day difference. And I was a little bit shocked because I was like, I could have messed up, sure, but I don't think I've messed up that much. And it's also bananas to me that I missed almost 2 months worth of mornings in this last year. To sit back and look at that and think that all of these little days, these one-offs, or maybe, when we had a 3-day weekend and we were out of town and I didn't do it, all of these little times where I didn't show up and I didn't do it, they added up to 57 days. Now, just to go with the math, I do acknowledge that I could have messed up on my counting. But let's just go with it. Let's just say I missed 57 days and my counting was perfect. Let's just go with that. So I missed 57 days. I still have a killer habit. I really, really do. Those 57 days didn't detract me from creating this habit. Those 57 days didn't create a new habit because they weren't consecutive. They were 57 missed days out of 365. So I did 308, and that's pretty damn good. Really, let's be honest, that's pretty good. However, to look at that and be like, I only did 10 months out of the year in aggregate feels a little surprising. So then, Jake and I got talking about this because I was like, okay, I recognize that I did good work. I recognize that was still really good. I'm still really proud of myself. And those days added up. They added up. How did they add up to almost 2 months? That was really the surprising factor. So then, of course, we go down this whole rabbit hole, right? We have young kids. I guess our older one's getting old, but we do. We have young kids. And part of learning how to read is, they tell you the guideline is 20 minutes a day of reading for young kids. And honestly, I do 20 minutes a day too. I think 20 minutes a day of reading is just a good life guideline. But regardless, for learning to read, 20 minutes a day is the recommended time frame. Like at least 20 minutes, it's just 20 minutes, you got it. And we've been really strict on that with our girls as far as we set the timer, it's 20 minutes, it's non-negotiable, you can do it, it's fine. So these 20 minutes a day make a difference. However, in the moment, in the day, 20 minutes is really not that long of a time, right? You can go to a restaurant and wait 20 minutes for your food. You could, go to the store and it could take 20 minutes to get there. These 20 minutes doesn't really seem like a whole lot of time. However, when you do the math, which I was doing a bunch of math this morning, so I have this for you and this is fun. 20 minutes a day adds up to 121.67 hours in a year, which equals out to 5 full 24-hour days. So essentially, when we're having our kids read 20 minutes a day, over the course of the year, they have read for 5 straight days, which is kind of crazy, right? To feel like this 20 minutes, which is nothing in the day, adds up to 5 full days, a full work week, right? That's a full work week of reading. So of course, when you increase this amount of time that we're talking about, of course, you increase the amount of full days. So an hour a day. As an adult, an hour a day is really not that much either. You could spend an hour in traffic commuting to work. You could watch an episode of something or 4 episodes of something. You could be on your phone scrolling for an hour. An hour When I tell the girls like we're going to go to the pool, but we're going to be there for an hour, it's like just an hour? Like that doesn't feel like that much time. However, it's obviously 365 hours in a year, which adds up to 15 full 24-hour days. That's over 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks of time, when you condense it down like that. And then one of my favorite time increments is 90 minutes. I love to see what I can get done in 90 minutes. So, of course, that's an hour and a half. That's 547 and a half hours in the year and 22.8 full days if you did 90 minutes a day. So this really brings into perspective how critical the way we spend our time is. Because even just 20 minutes, if you spend 20 minutes dinking around on your phone, that's 5 days a year that you're just spending doing absolutely nothing. That's just useless. It's just wasted time. And I'm going to get into like intentionally doing things, but what I'm saying is that it all adds up. So if you only have 20 minutes for something, don't discount how powerful that can be in the long run, because it truly, truly is. And an hour a day, obviously, if you increase the amount of time that you spend, the more impact it's going to have. So as we take this into perspective of like something you want to accomplish, something you want to do, whether you are, creating a portfolio or writing a book or mastering a new skill or starting a podcast or whatever it is, working on your fitness and your health, whatever it is, the amount of time that you put into it on a daily basis adds up. It may not feel like it in the day or in the week or maybe even in the month, but there's going to be like this critical tipping point where it will really make a difference, where you'll be like, holy crap, I've gotten really good at this. Or holy crap, I've made a lot of progress. And honestly, if you're spending 90 minutes on something, a specific thing, you're going to see the effects of that rather quickly. I would say within 2 weeks of, a dedicated 90 minutes a day or even 90 minutes, for the work week, that will make a massive difference. So you just kind of have to ask yourself, like, what block of time feels good and doable, and how fast do you want to make progress? Because if you want to make progress 90 minutes a day fast, yet you will not schedule or block out 90 minutes a day to make that fast progress, that doesn't help you. You're better off just spending the 20 minutes a day, if that's doable, or 10 minutes, or whatever it is, whatever feels doable that you can be consistent at, and go with that until you can increase your block of time. Because really, the powerful thing here is the consistency. It really is the consistency. So even though I missed 57 days in the last year, I was consistent enough to get the 308. And when you put it in perspective like that, it's just like, well, yeah, that really is winning, because 57 days, that sounds like a lot of days, and it is a lot of days. But when you hold it up to the 308, it's like, well, I mean, right? I got 10/12 of the time, right? Like, that's valuable. That's extremely valuable. So if you could only do and commit to the 20 minutes, that will still add up over time. That will still give you the 5 full days a year of progress in that one thing. Now, I'm not saying never dink around on your phone. I'm not saying Never, veg out. I'm not saying whatever it is, however it is that you like to relax, however it is that you like to unwind, do that. Of course, do that. Of course, do that. Do it intentionally. That's the thing. Do it intentionally. It's when we go to our phone or go to Netflix or whatever, we go to whatever to disengage, to be distracted, to numb out, to not deal, to not whatever it is that we're avoiding. That's when it's the problem. That's when it's really the time suck. That's when you're really wasting your time. Intentionally be like, yeah, I'm deciding I'm going to play on my phone for 20 minutes, and that's going to be delightful. And then after that, I'm going to, get back at it, or I'm going to do the laundry, or I'm going to, whatever it is you're avoiding, whatever it is that you don't want to do, just take the second to be like, I'm not in a reaction mode. This is really what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And then after this, I'm going to do that. And that will feel good. Because there are lots of times where I will, have a situation that I encounter and I just really need to disengage for a minute. Like maybe the girls are just annoying the crap out of me. Maybe they're wild. Maybe they're not listening. Maybe whatever it is. And I can't for a minute. It's like I'm either going to play on my phone for 10 minutes or I'm going to explode and I'm going to choose play on my phone. Truly. This is real life. And so I do. Because I'd really rather not explode. And so that's that. The point is to be doing it intentionally. And some of those 57 days, I think were intentional. When I got really sick a couple of times, I needed to sleep. That was intentional. And there were a few days that weren't. Like, I'm at a hotel and I really don't like the equipment. And so instead of dealing with that, I'm just going to stay in bed. That's a little less intentional because really that's just an excuse. Because I make it work when we're down at Jake's folks and I don't have any equipment and we just go out and go on a walk in the morning. So treadmills are usually all the same to me anyway. And so I could make that choice of like, well, instead of biking, because I don't like that bike, I'm going to use the treadmill instead. So there are times when it's just an excuse. And it's like, okay, well, that happens. So I'm not saying don't take a day off. I'm not saying don't play on your phone. I'm not saying don't watch Netflix. I'm saying do these things intentionally. Do it on purpose. Do it because you want something else deliberately. That's when you do it. The problem becomes when it's just the habit, when it's just the default. When you're choosing what you want now over what you want most over and over and over and over and over again. If I had only done that initial 60 days of my 5 a.m. habit, and then I got on here a year later and was like, I did 60 days of my 5 a.m. habit, and now we're a year later and I've missed 305, that means nothing. That's like, cool, Megan, you don't really have a habit anymore. Like you might have had it for those 60 days or maybe for 65, but after that you created a new habit, which was sleeping in. So good work. No one would care. I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even present it to you, right? Because I created the habit and then I created the opposite habit right after that. But that wasn't the case. I missed some days and I was still a boss on 308 days. So there we go. We're still pretty proud of that one. We're still calling that one a win. And I've got a goal this year to hit 500 days by the end of the year. And I did the math at the end of last year and I would only miss 12 days this year. That was it. That was my limit in order to reach 500 days by December 31st. I could only miss 12 days. And I think right now I've missed 6. And so we're almost halfway through the year. So I'm halfway through my days missed. I've got 6 more I can use. But now that goal, that clear goal of I want to hit 500 is in my head. And so in the morning, when I'm like, man, do I really want to get up? It's like, well, do I want to use one of my 6 remaining days? And really, most of the time, it's like, no, I don't, because I don't know if I'm going to get sick. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whatever. I want to be able to have those days to use when I truly, truly need it, not when I'm just being lazy. So, if you needed the wake up call, if you needed the reminder about how your time adds up, here it is. Use your time intentionally. You only get today this one time. This is the only time you have today. If it's only 20 minutes that you can dedicate to the thing that's really going to be meaningful to you, know that your 20 minutes are going to add up. And if you want it to add up faster, if you want to have a bigger result faster, then you need to dedicate more time to it. Increase it to 30 minutes, increase it to 45 minutes, increase it to whatever feels good to you, whatever feels like you can be consistent at. But there you go. Start there and know that for kids who are learning to read, 20 minutes is like the benchmark. It's the guideline. So I would say if you can only do 5 minutes, then only do 5 minutes, but really aim for at least 20 and give yourself that time for yourself to do what feels most meaningful. You can find 20 minutes, I super promise you, but you can only find 20 minutes if you really want to. If you don't want to, you'll never find the time. And then you should really just acknowledge that to yourself. So anyways, there we go. There's your little wake-up call. Mine too. I send you all of my love. Until next time. Bye for now.